Yeah.
All right.
I like
Next
this.
game. Saints -2 at the Washington football team. Total of 44.5. I will start with me. I got a like on the Saints here, minus the 2 points. What it comes down to is I think, coaching class, Ron Rivera, Sean Payton, is definitely a tier above the Ron Riveras of the world. Team coming off a loss in this division to the NFC East, against a good opponent on the road, at least in the Giants. We got the outright win. Daniel Jones probably played his best game of
Best
his
game
career.
ever. Looked really good.
Best game of
Just
his
hell yeah.
career. I think the Saints are going to be locked and loaded this week, considering that, I gave out this stat about a year ago this time. They were 16-0 against the spread in the month of October since 2016. Since then, they're fucking 0-3. So
Repeat that one more time, because that's the sexiest ATS number I've heard.
they were 16-0 against the spread in the month of October since 2016. This was last year after they beat the Lions. They covered that spread. But since then, they played 3 games in October. Since then, 0-3 against the spread. So
and I would love to see the home splits on those, because it could just be some happen chance that they're at home or whatever. But
but
that's crazy.
they played some caliber good opponents since then. Won some games, but didn't cover like a 3.5. So I'm gonna back the Saints here, less than a field goal. The Washington football team, outside of the NFC East, are just 7-7 against the spread. So I'm looking to back the Saints here. I know they're 31st in the passing yards per game, but this Washington football team gives it the fuck up. Almost 300 yards passing per game on defense they give up. So, the Falcons were in a similar position this week. Didn't look good throwing the ball, all of that, but they were able to throw the ball, almost got out of there with the win. I think the Saints, higher class, a lot of different things. I see some Taysom Hill in there as well. This is the Saints team that I've seen just kind of murder this Washington football team the last few times. So
We've seen it happen in Landover sometimes some years ago with Drew Brees. Obviously, these two teams only play every 4 years, but we've seen it already in Landover before. And I want to point this out. The Washington football team is the worst team on third down in pro football. They cannot get off the field. And if you get it, and so Sean Payton obviously knows that. And Sean Payton runs an offense that is very much so on schedule. He loves 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s. Well, who doesn't, right? But he does the best job in pro football in getting in those situations. I'm hesitant about the fact that Derrick Henry has more catches out of the backfield than Alvin Kamara this year. That to me just strikes as something that will not continue through the entire year. I think Sean Payton knows he needs to give him the ball more often. We go back to this last week against the Giants. Kamara was almost a non-factor. You have to get your best playmakers the ball, and he is their best playmaker offensively. So I think Jameis Winston on the road, make it easy on him, get your best player the ball in space. I think this is an Alvin Kamara game. And I love the fact that the Saints here have already gotten money. Steam up from 1.5 up to 2. I hate 2. It's not going to land at 2, though. It's not going to land at 2. So me not liking 2 is fine. This is a Washington football team that they need to get it together defensively if they have any hopes of being what they were last year, because that shit they're doing on offense isn't going to sustain. It's just not. So I commend what they've been doing thus far. They've been sticking tough into most of their games. Obviously not the other week in Orchard Park up there in Buffalo. But this is a Washington football team that has played pretty bad teams thus far, that not excluding the Chargers and the Bills. So this right here would be a little closer of a matchup, I think, than most think. I think that's why this line is close. So I would be, hesitant to lay this here just on the regular line. I think my favorite angle on the Saints would be the alternative spread, because if they cover, they cover. I don't see the Saints. I mean, I don't see the Saints winning by 2 or 4 or any of those key numbers, that being 2, 3, and 4. If the Saints win, they're winning by a touchdown or more. I would lay their alternative spread here, and I would play the Washington football team on the regular line, if anything.
All right.
I don't think this game lands on 2 or anywhere near it. This line is either 100% incorrect either way, but it does not land on 2, 3, or 4 for me.
All right, and that's Rome at RomyRome _ on Twitter. Remember, it's Where's Rome week 5, all the odd weeks to show where all the odd places Rome is. Paris, how you feel about this game? Saints favored by 2 at the Washington football team.
Excuse me, CEO. You may have to edit this one time, but I did when I coming up to the pod, want to say just drop this one stat that I've been banging with all year about specifically about the Dolphins and their lack of rush defense. So Damian Harris, 23 rushes, 100 yards, week 1. Devin Singletary, 13 for 82 and tutty, week 2.
And that's a Bills team that cannot run the ball or
can't run the ball. Zach Moss in that same game, 8 for 28, 2 tutties. Payne Barber, week 3, 23 for 111 and a tutty. Jay Taylor, 16 for 105 and a tutty last week. All that to say that Lenny Fournette, 20 rushes, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns is loaded. Now, so you might have to edit that, but I just want to make sure because I'm on the pod, I don't get to come here that often.
No, we might start it off with that. We might start it off.
So, but Saints, Washington football team. I like the Saints here a lot. I think it's another kind of buy low, sell high. Sean Payton, we talked about him after the spread, 48-26 after a loss. That's like a 65, 66% win percentage on the spread, and then on the away games is even better. It's like 25-10. So I think I like the Saints a lot here. I think the football team they have a lot of things going wrong, especially it starts with the defense. I don't know how or why things are looking so bad. John Allen left last game, is not looking too good for this week. I mean, they have the names galore, hype galore, but they just haven't been showing up. So I'm gonna back Sean Payton. I think it's kind of fix me game for the Saints here. I think they get right in this game. They cover the spread pretty easy.
Hey, Paris, are there any lines that you're afraid of? You know me, I'm always big on, I don't like laying 3.5 on the road. I don't lay 7 on the road, those type of things. I don't like laying 2 on the road. I don't think this line lands at 2. What line is it for you where it gets to the Saints? And not necessarily too steep, but what line are you just like, I don't like this?
If it got to like 3.5, 4, I would kind of stay away. I hate laying 4 at home. I get that's probably my biggest thing. Look, 4 at home, 7 at home is kind of like always red flags to me. So
laying or catching because they're on the road.
I'm talking about. I was just in general as a general premise. Like laying 4, laying 7 at home is kind of like ugly to me. Catching 3.5, 4 on the road. I mean, laying 3.5, 4 on the 3.5 on the road. If the Saints were laying 3.5, I would kind of stay away probably. But
yeah, and I think that's where this line. I think it's going to end up at like that flat 3 or that ugly 2.5.
Yeah, I'll touch that all day. The flat 3 is all good. I think the Saints probably win this by a touchdown. But just before the game, if it's there's indicators of the lines move for a reason, and the people that move the lines know there's historical data that goes way back. So when the lines get to certain numbers, certain indicators, that's when you kind of want to stay away.
Right. All right. Soundman, the fan, Washington football team fan. How do you feel about this game?
Whoop, whoop.
A lot of mixed feelings about this game. Let me start by saying that where to begin? Washington football team pulls out a win out their hat, knew they were gonna win. As I said, each week I'm gonna be here to predict our record by the end of the year. I think this is the first time on the first 5 weeks that I'm going to go out on a limb and think we're going to win a game that I really don't think I'm that confident in. I'm going to say I'm going to lean Washington football team here. As people have said, like the stats are against us. History is against us. We never play the Saints well. Our defense is not good. We're a shell of ourselves. We lost so many bodies in Atlanta. Scherf is gone. Logan's got a hammy. McIntyre, he's not good, but he was out there. He was a body. Got injured on the last play of the game. AG's been hurt. Obviously, we're here with Taylor Heineke. Like we're banged up, and I think this is a game we come into Landover. Obviously, we disappointed the fans. Week 1, week 2, barely won by a field goal because the Giants tripped over their own foot. I think this is we come back home and we just get a game that kind of like tries to propel our season into the right direction. It's like, okay, we're 3-2. Let's put aside the noise right now of, who are we type of deal. Ron Rivera, we got FBI agents running up in our damn state. Let's put the noise away. You didn't hear about the story room? FBI agent, don't worry about it. Drugs.
Oh my God, that's
drugs.
Just so funny.
Don't worry about it. Like, there's a lot going on to watch the football team per usual. We're back at home. This is a game we should not win. The number 2 is crazy. Also, who are the Saints? It kind of worries me. The Saints, obviously, they lost to the Giants last week. I looked at the game. It was 7-0. Next thing you know, they're winning the Giants 27-21 in overtime. I was like, what the hell happened here? Didn't see too much of it. Don't know what to make of the Saints this season at all.
That's valid.
So I don't know. I'm going to take Washington football. I'm going to lean Washington football team in this spot. I'm not going to bet it. I think we should win off some pride shit. And I'm gonna go from there, man. That's all I got. I'm leaning Washington football team.
As just being a sports handicapper, I want to point out these 2 very specific angles on this game because, like I said, I don't think this line lands on 2 either way. You can play both teams in this game and still profit. I would play both teams' alternative spread laying the points. I would play Washington football team. This line closed at 2. Washington football team, their alternative spread will probably be at -3 plus 220. And the Saints' alternative spread will be at, if it lands at 2 or 3, it'll be at -5.5, maybe 6 plus 220. You could play both of those angles. And if either one of them cover, you win. So you could basically not even watch the game and just hope for that number to land, obviously with margin. Because like I said, going back to this point, this number is not going to land on 2. It's just not. And I think that would be the best way to approach this. Instead of trying to pick one side, you can play both sides, lay that larger number on alternative spreads, and go from there.
What's up with the Saints though? Like I've seen them have 2.
They don't have
I've seen them have 4. I've seen them have 8.
Identity. They don't have identity. They don't get their best player involved. They don't have weapons on the outside, and it's Jameis Winston at quarterback. So
weird numbers this year, man.
Yeah, just
the more we talk about this, the more I like the home team.
Yeah, just look up Saints or Ron Rivera versus the Saints, 7-11 against the spread. Rivera versus the Saints. So